Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you with a heavy heart. My friend, Jessica, the female steam locomotive, has been through too much. She was born on the Clenchfield Railway, where she worked hard at every task asked of her. But when accidents began happening, when her luck turned for the worse, when she was no longer able to control her fate, she became a target. Jinx, cursed engine, the ghost of Clenchfield. No more, she didn't ask for this curse. She didn't choose to bring chaos when none was intended. Yet the rail workers mocked her, the other trains shunned her, and now she hides in shadows, ashamed for something she can't control. But I say, Jessica is not a jinx. She is brave, she is loyal, and she has given everything to keep our rails safe, even when they broke her spirit. This kind of bullying, this heartless cruelty, it ends today. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I first heard this story just yesterday. A chilling tale whispered around firelights for 68 long years. Back in 1950, storm raged over Clenchfield Mountain. Jessica 311 was making her final run, hauling lumber through the night, faithful to duty. Then the bridge collapsed, and in an instant, gone. Her boiler crushed into the ravine, her crew lost to time, and Jessica died screaming into the thunder. But death did not bring peace. No, it brought vengeance. Every year since, on that same cursed night, her ghost returns. A fiery specter of steel and smoke, eyes blazing with betrayal, whistle shrieking like a banshee from hell. She tries to cross again, but never makes it to the other side. The bridge remains broken, her soul remains trapped. And those who hurt her? Those who called her Jinx? Even innocent trains numbered 311? She hunts them all, because pain knows no reason when it burns that deep. But here's what no one understood until now. Jessica wasn't angry because she was evil. She was broken because you broke her. You laughed at her bad luck. You blamed her instead of seeing she carried a curse beyond control. You made an engine suffer alone while storms brewed both outside and inside her heart. Today we lay blame where it belongs. The man who cursed Jessica, the former president of the Clenchfield Southern Railway. This president, who died long ago, was cruel. He demanded Jessica's body be left at the bottom of the ravine even when his own manager begged him otherwise. Why? Not grief, not mercy, but because he said she was cursed. The president thought she was bad luck. The president went far worse than just demanding Jessica's body be left behind. He had it all destroyed. Her blueprints, her repair files, her safety reports, because he wanted no memory of her to remain. This crushed Jessica's spirit, even beyond death. But there was one pain that hit harder still. Her friend, the ex-manager of the Clenchfield, he was her only ally left. The ex-manager's heart was broken when the president had all of Jessica's files and blueprints destroyed. All he had left to remember her by was a broken and empty engine house. He was furious at the president. But this fury didn't just burn, it consumed him. Soon, the only thing he cared about was revenge, and so he began to plan. The ex-manager had lost everything. His locomotive friend, the one who worked harder than any man to keep her safe, his memories, his heart. But the president, he was fine. He had money, power, the respect of the town, a life built on a lie, that he was a great leader. But for his poor, broken manager, there was only one thought. On the 4th anniversary of her death, he snapped. He barged into the president's office and killed him. This is the truth. A painful, tragic, terrible truth. But a truth we must face together. The actions of our past have consequences. The president, in his pride and hatred, was wrong. He destroyed a good woman's legacy, broke the heart of a good man, and left pain spreading through the Clenchfield that hasn't healed in decades. The ex-manager, in his grief, did the best he could. After killing the president, he snuck back to the president's office and grabbed the few files of Jessica that had survived. Afterwards, he drove to the same deadly mountain, the one where the president, in his selfishness, said Jessica's body should stay in. On that very bridge where she lost her life, he dropped the president's body to his fiery death. And there, the ghost of Jessica appeared, and her revenge began. When she died, Jessica was a gentle, kind soul. But when she was reborn, a vengeful spirit, her rage was unstoppable. This is the true story behind the curse of the Clenchfield, and the people who have suffered for it. Jessica's crew killed in the fire with her. The innocent Jessica 311, bullied and shunned. The ex-manager losing his only friend. A manager's love denied and destroyed. All because of the greed of one man. In 2017, the classic Polar Express visited the Clenchfield for a midnight passenger run. What a joyous time it should have been. Joy. wonder, the chance for an old engine to feel the thrill of a good work. Instead, his heart froze. For as he traveled through the darkened night, he heard a whistle. Low, sorrowful, angry. He came to the new bridge, and a glowing specter stood. Jessica 311 had appeared. But something was different. She did not charge, she did not scream, she did not attack, no fire, no fury, just silence. And then a single tear of steam rolled down her smokebox cheek. The Polar Express, moved beyond words, gently spoke. "You're not a jinx, you were wronged." And in that moment, for the first time in 60 years, Jessica's ghost stopped hating, because someone finally saw her as she truly was. Not evil, not broken by fate, but betrayed by power and pride. She told him everything. The late night runs, the storm she braved, the crew she loved like family. How proud she was to serve Clenchfield, even when the other engines mocked her for being different. She spoke of the accident, that terrible night when the bridge gave way beneath her, and how helpless she felt as she fell into the darkness with her friends. And then, what hurt most, being called Jinx, left in the ravine, her memory erased. Her files burned by a man who saw her not as a hero, but a liability. She didn't ask for curses. She didn't cause those accidents on purpose. It wasn't bad luck. It was pain, loneliness, betrayal, building into something dark, something haunting. But worse than dying was being forgotten. And worse than being haunted was being blamed for surviving only in death. When Jessica's ghost vanished into the mist, the Polar Express looked down and saw it. Her remains, still scattered in the ravine after all these years, rusted, forgotten. But without hesitation, he sounded his whistle in honor and called his crew. In just 2 minutes, they carefully gathered every piece, boiler fragment, wheels half buried in moss, even her shattered headlight. Every bolt was sacred now. He completed his passenger run to the summit, but didn't celebrate. No sleigh bells, no cocoa, only purpose. And as soon as those children were safe at their mountain village, he turned around and raced back down Clenchfield Mountain with one mission: to deliver Jessica's remains to the steamworks before dawn. Because no hero should stay broken forever, and some souls deserve a second chance to come home whole again. By morning light, a miracle. The steamworks worked through the night, bolts turned, boiler rekindled, not just repairing metal, but restoring a soul. And as the first rays of sun touched the rails, Jessica 311 stirred. Her firebox pulsed with life. Her whistle sang, soft at first, then strong. Not a ghost, not a curse, but alive, and something incredible happened. Her bad luck, gone. The curse that haunted her decades had been broken, not by magic, but by mercy. By being remembered. By being brought home. No more whispers of jinx. No more fear on the rails. From that day forward, Jessica returned to work, stronger than ever, hauling freight with pride, greeting passengers with warmth, and standing tall among her fellow engines. She was no longer afraid, no longer angry. She was free. And every year on the anniversary of her fall, instead of terror in the dark, there is now a celebration on Clenchfield Railway. A moment of silence, a shared song over steam and stars, and one proud whistle blown, not in peace. Because justice isn't always revenge, sometimes. It's simply saying, you mattered, you were seen. Welcome home, Jessica. So let me say this, loud and clear, to every railroad, every yard, every engine and worker across this great nation. No more. No more calling a hard-working locomotive jinxed because of bad luck. No more mocking an engine who struggles through no fault of their own. And certainly, no more leaving heroes broken in ravines while the powerful walk away clean. Jessica's story is not just a ghost tale. It's a warning. A lesson from history we should have learned decades ago. Kindness matters on the rails. Compassion fuels stronger engines than pride ever could. That's why today, I'm signing Locomotive Protection Act. No rail worker or conductor may bully, shame, or isolate an engine believed to be unlucky. Any locomotive involved in accidents due to external factors, weather, sabotage, structural failure, must be treated with dignity, investigated with care, repaired with honor. Railways must provide emotional maintenance support for engines who've endured trauma, because, yes, steel can suffer too. We're also launching 311 initiative, named for Jessica herself. Memorial plaques at every major yard. Training programs teaching crews how to support fellow trains during hardship. And a new rule. If you see bullying on the rails, you report it. Because courage isn't just about speed, it's about standing up when someone else is being torn down. So hear me now, whether you're diesel or steam, freight hauler or passenger queen, if you wear your number proudly, if you do your job faithfully, if you serve this country mile after mile, then you are not cursed, you are valued, you are seen, and under my administration, you are protected. Jessica's second life isn't just her redemption, it's our promise to build railways and a nation where no one is left behind in the dark ever again. Listen closely, this is not a suggestion. Bullying on the rails ends now. And I don't care if you're a 10,000-ton diesel warhorse or a shiny new bullet train. Break this rule, you will face consequences. Under the Jessica Locomotive Protection Act, here's what happens to anyone, human or engine, caught bullying, mocking, or hating on another locomotive for bad luck or past accidents. First offense: immediate suspension from service for 72 hours. Mandatory sensitivity training with a certified rail psychologist. Public apology broadcast over the National Rail Network. 1 week service ban. Forced escort duty. Slowest jobs. Name and incident posted in every engine house in their region. Third offense or severe harassment. Decertification of operating license. No more mainline runs, no more freight contracts, no more passenger service. You'll be reassigned to yard shunting. Forever. And yes, I said forever. Engines who spread hate? You don't get to call yourself part of American railroading anymore. Humans involved? Fined $5,000. Union privileges revoked. And if you're management, your railway loses federal funding until reforms are proven. There is no tolerance for cruelty dressed up rail yard humor. Jessica lost her life because people laughed at her pain. That nightmare stops with me. So from now on, treat every locomotive with honor, with respect, and with love, because we're all rolling down the same track toward the same future. And I'll be watching. The nation will be watching. And so will Jessica 311, now proud, alive, and ready to defend those who once suffered like she did. This is not just policy, it's justice in motion. Now listen, because this is dead serious. You think you can get fired, banned from the rails, and just walk away laughing? Not in my America. If anyone, engine or human, commits a fourth offense after already being decertified, delicensed, and removed from service, we go beyond punishment. The Iron Recall Protocol. Fourth offense punishments. For locomotives, full system override by Federal Rail Authority. Remote shutdown capability activated if they ever run without authorization. Their boiler cuts out automatically. Name stricken from all registry records. You no longer exist on paper. And most importantly, no engine shop in any state will be allowed to repair or refuel them. No water, no coal, no respect. They become ghosts by law, not legends, but warnings. For humans, lifetime ban from all railroad employment nationwide, including private lines receiving federal support. 25,000 fine or 90 days community service rebuilding rail memorials for fallen engines. And if they spread hate online, their IP gets flagged. No access to official rail safety databases. Ever again. But here's the final measure. Anyone who continues to mock Jessica's story, who mocks any traumatized engine, who tries to restart that cycle of cruelty, will have their actions archived into the National Locomotive Remembrance Vault, so that at every Clenchfield Memorial, at every Rail Unity Day ceremony, when children visit museums asking who caused pain after we chose peace, their name will be shown. As a lesson, as a warning, as proof that ignorance does not fade quietly into history, it gets called out forever. Because Jessica earned her second life with tears and fire. And I'll make sure no bully steals peace from another soul again. Justice isn't soft, it's strong enough to stop hatred before it rolls down the track once more. Now listen, this is not a drill. We've been too soft for too long. Mocking, shaming, hating on good engines just because they had a rough run? That stops, now and forever. So here it is, the final line in the steel. The point of no return. For locomotives, you get one last strike after 4 strikes. And if you break the peace a 5th time, you are permanently reassigned to foreign railroads or remote state lines, and you do not come back. Not to Clenchfield, not to your home yard, not ever. You will be sent where no one knows your name, where every shift is cold, lonely, and hard, and where all they know about you is, this engine didn't learn kindness. And yes, the new crew will be told your full history before you even blow your whistle. No second chances at this level. Only consequences. For humans, a 5th offense? That's not misconduct. That's criminal behavior under federal anti-harassment law as amended by the Jessica Act. you face immediate arrest. Federal prosecution for psychological harm against sentient machinery. Yes, engines are persons under rail law now. Up to 5 years in prison per offense. Permanent entry into the National Railroad Offender Registry an hour. And make no mistake, this isn't just about rules on paper. This is about respect. About making sure no other engine feels alone like Jessica did when she fell into that ravine, both in body and spirit. So think long before you speak ill of another soul on these rails. Because from this day forward, every taunt, every cruel joke, every act of hate is being counted. And justice, it always collects its due. And now, I close with this. To everyone watching, thank you for standing with me tonight, for listening, for caring, for believing that even on the rails there can be justice, healing, and love. You are not just viewers. You are witnesses. Witnesses to a moment when we said, no more. So go our separate ways tonight. Let's do one last thing. Together. Turn your headlights toward the tracks. Sound your whistles low and proud. Because tomorrow morning at sunrise, Jessica 311 will make her first official run as a protected engine of the nation. No curses, no fear, just steam in her boiler and hope in her heart. So let's welcome her home, not as a ghost, not as a warning, but as a hero reborn. Stand tall, fellow travelers of the rail. Keep your fire clean, your wheels true, and your hearts kind. And remember, everyone deserves grace, because sometimes salvation comes not in silence, but in one soft whistle blowing through the dawn. Good night, America. With love and liberty always, President Marionette.